Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, let's just dive right into it. We've all been fed this idea that love is just some mysterious, random magic, right? Like it just strikes when you least expect it. But what if it's actually an intricate alchemical formula? What if love is really this highly precise blend of quantum physics, chemical triggers, and literally programmable code? Today, we're totally stripping away the folklore and the mystery of human connection to reveal the hidden mechanical gears turning underneath it all. To kick off this little experiment, I want you to chew on a completely bizarre question. What if your last relationship failed simply because of a wooden duck sitting in your living room? I know, it sounds totally ridiculous. No way, right? But stick with me, because by the end of this explainer, you're going to understand exactly how subconscious symbols quietly pull the strings in our romantic lives. And you'll see why those innocent little decorations sitting on your shelf might actually be secretly sabotaging your happily ever after. Section 1. The physics of romance. Decoding the chaos of love. So have you ever wondered why love feels so incredibly unpredictable? Like, why do two people who seem magnetically drawn to each other, they have that instant burning spark? Why do they suddenly repel and just drift apart out of nowhere? The answer to that heartbreak? It isn't a sudden lack of magic or some curse of fate. It actually comes down to strictly logical, physical laws just running their natural course. Let's apply a core rule of quantum mechanics directly to your living room. Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. Now, in physics, this principle basically says that you can't simultaneously measure the exact position and momentum of a particle. In the grand alchemy of relationships, this means you literally cannot perfectly align a partner who's stuck in a stagnant, fixed position with a partner who is constantly moving, learning, and growing. It's just a physical impossibility. Think of it like this. Imagine one partner is firmly anchored in a fixed position. They're stagnant, completely comfortable where they are, kind of resistant to change. But the other partner has momentum. They're evolving, reading, accelerating forward. Now, for a brief moment in time, their paths might cross and wow, the spark is absolutely there. But eventually, the person with momentum just keeps moving. Their frequencies start to clash, the gap widens, and the relationship shatters. If you aren't both growing at the exact same velocity, gravity is inevitably going to pull you apart. Section 2. Archetypes as subconscious code, hacking the mind's operating system. All right, think of the human mind like a highly complex operating system. The words and symbols we use every single day, they aren't just polite noises we make to pass the time. They are literal lines of code. It's like they're quantum waves carrying dense data that permanently programs the absolute deepest atomic levels of our subconscious. The very second an archetype is introduced into a conversation, boom, it executes an immediate, unavoidable biochemical reaction in the listener's brain. And these archetypes trigger highly specific, totally predictable chemical responses. For instance, if you invoke the symbol of an eagle, you're essentially injecting pure dopamine straight into the subconscious. It triggers intense feelings of power, action, and fierce independence. A butterfly, on the other hand, triggers this deep, inescapable urge for personal transformation. But a duck quietly programs feelings of victimhood and weakness into the system. And the concept of the journey, that creates an intense, rushing sense of urgency. Guys, these aren't just poetic metaphors. They are literal biochemical commands dictating human behavior. Section 3. Symbols in practical communication, becoming a romantic programmer. Now, direct dating approaches, like walking right up to someone and aggressively demanding a date or professing your love out of nowhere, those are effectively bad sales pitches for kitchen blenders. The rational mind immediately throws up a massive defensive shield to protect itself. You just cannot force a direct sale in romance. Instead, you've got to bypass that rational armor entirely. How? By weaving these powerful archetypal codes into subtle, indirect, and highly engaging stories. So here is your practical roadmap for hacking romantic communication. Step 1. Lower their rational shield with mundane, everyday conversation. Talk about the weather or the coffee. Step 2. Seamlessly weave an archetype into a story. For example, there's a story of a man who pursued a woman for 4 whole years with absolutely zero success. Finally, he casually deployed the journey archetype. Over a quick coffee, he just mentioned he was going away on a long trip. Instantly, her subconscious triggered a fear of loss, and she practically invited herself over to his house. Which brings us to step 3. Always use that momentum to secure the next meeting. Because the subconscious mind receives the stimulus and leads the person to behave irresistibly. Telling a hypothetical story about, say, making intense eye contact with a stranger on a subway, only for the doors to close forever. That permanently programs the missed opportunity archetype right into your listener's brain. You aren't awkwardly asking them out, you're creating a desperate, undeniable fear of missing out on you. Section 4. The 2-point equivalence rule, the mathematics of mutual attraction. Okay, I want you to burn this number into your memory. 2. In the grand alchemical formula of love, 2 is the ultimate mathematical limit for a successful, long-lasting connection. Because look, you can use all the brilliant code in the world, but it's gonna fail if the underlying math is wrong. Let me explain exactly why. This is the equivalence rule, kind of the ultimate test of your romantic ingredients. Here's how it works. You score both partners from 1 to 10 in major life areas: financial, spiritual, intellectual, and physical. Then you find the average score for each person. For the scales of alchemy to perfectly balance, the gap between the two partners' averages cannot be greater than 2 points. Any wider than that, and the mixture becomes fundamentally unstable over the long term. A balanced equation, meaning a gap of 2 points or less, means the couple shares a really sturdy bridge of common ground. It's capable of sustaining endless, deep conversation. But a doomed formula? Imagine a highly intellectual executive with an average score of 9 trying to date someone with an average score of 3. They might share a brief, passionate physical spark for sure, but after 30 minutes, the bridge collapses. They literally have absolutely nothing to talk about. And without conversation, you simply cannot generate the biochemical reactions needed for true love. Section 5. Mistakes that kill deep connection. Sabotaging the chemistry. All right, let's look at the most common bugs in the code. These are the connection killers. First, leaving a great initial encounter without securing a reason for the next. That just makes you another forgotten face in the crowd. Second, stubbornly trying to bridge an equivalence gap larger than 2 points. It's just math, guys. Third, placing aggressive, solitary archetypes in your shared domestic spaces. And finally, the absolute ultimate connection killer, rushing physical intimacy. Let's actually zoom in on that last one, because rushing intimacy is a massive bug. The human brain has 2 completely distinct neural highways, one for romance and one for sex. Rushing physical contact instantly redirects all your brain's energy straight down the sexual highway. When that happens, the biochemical romance circuit completely short circuits. It just shuts down. You actually need months of deep, archetype-rich conversation to properly wire and strengthen that romantic circuit first. And hey, remember those domestic archetypes we talked about? Here is a stark warning directly from our source material. Do not put an eagle statue or poster in your living room. The eagle represents pure aggressive action. It constantly triggers the brain to produce massive amounts of dopamine, making people subconsciously want to conquer the world entirely alone, rather than build a peaceful home together. Simply placing an eagle in a shared space has literally been known to lead to a sudden, explosive breakup or divorce within exactly 7 days. Wild, right? Section 6. The final relationship formula. Mastering the alchemy of love. So the ultimate takeaway from this explainer is this. True romantic alchemy isn't sure luck. It's not fairy dust. It is the precise, intentional combination of your ingredients. It's balancing your mathematical equation so you actually share a solid foundation. It's intimately understanding the physics of your mutual momentum so you can grow together. And it's consciously programming your shared reality by weaving the exact right subconscious code into your everyday conversations. So I'm going to leave you with this final, crucial thought. Before you go blaming the universe or bad luck or fate for your love life, are you absolutely sure you aren't inadvertently programming weakness into your daily environment? Seriously, take a very close look around your living room today. Are you absolutely sure you don't have any wooden duck statues hiding in your house? Keep learning, keep those equations beautifully balanced, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.